guys, welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is all your match reaction to this afternoon's 1-1 draw against St Mirren away. You know what, you could probably take and copy and paste what's been said from game 1, game 2 to game 3 in domestic football. The first half was absolutely diabolical. I mean, again, flat, no dynamism, didn't work hard, didn't want the ball as much as St Mirren, didn't high press with any commitment at all. Generally looked like a collection of 11 individuals out there who didn't know where they were supposed to be standing, didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, didn't know how they were supposed to be playing, and didn't genuinely know what to do once they had the ball. Russell Martin has promised so much, hasn't he? He's promised that they'll be hard running, hard working, fast, aggressive, high press, that attacking style that he's promised, and absolutely zero evidence. And you listen to his comments post-match, you listen to his comments pre-match, you listen to any of his comments, and you genuinely don't think that he genuinely understands football or what is going on with this game. He doesn't genuinely seem to understand how bad this is. These performances remind me of the final days of Beale. They remind me of the final days of Clement, in their directionless, progressless, just genuinely awful performances from the team. And you look at the stats from the game today, and same number of shots as them, 6 on target, 4 on target for them, 71% possession, 29% for them, 578 passes, 230, pass accuracy at 88% over there, 67. If you look at the raw stats alone, you'd say, Rangers must have been good today because they had 6 shots on target, over nearly half their shots were on target, their possession was good, their passes were good, their pass accuracy was good, but the vast majority of the passes were directionless. They were not going anywhere. They weren't aggressive, they weren't attacking, they weren't anything, Yes, second half, once we changed to a 3-4-3, things seemed to get better. But I would say genuinely, that was poor. That was genuinely, again, another directionless, poor display. And, I know social media is a poisonous place. I've had my fair share of absolute diabolical comments made to me and just ridiculous comments made to me. The overwhelming comment, is just, I don't know, it just is, it's just not good enough, genuinely not good enough. Russell Martin, to me, doesn't appear to know what he is doing. I mean, one thing that kind of shouts at you from the rooftops after looking at that starting lineup for me is that we need a striker. We desperately need a striker. Obviously, Dessers is making his way back from injury, may be back for Wednesday, but obviously not fit enough to start. Now, apparently, Hamza Iggerman refused to play this afternoon. He refused to come on. Russell Martin said this. He said, "I turned around at 60 minutes because I wanted 2 strikers on the pitch, and Hamza told me he was injured." So apparently that is pretty much a refusal to play. Now, if this is the truth, which I've got no doubt in my mind that this is, I think that he needs to be disciplined. He needs to be sold. You cannot say that you cannot be allowed the manager to put you on the bench and then come out and say, "I don't want to play, I'm injured." I mean, I get his frustration to some degree. I mean, you look at that starting 11 and you see an attacking midfielder played as a false 9, which quite clearly didn't work again. And I get he has frustrations, but that is not the way to express them. That is unprofessional. And for him to sit there and say that he's injured when he quite clearly probably was not injured, is ridiculous. Absolutely disgusting from Hamza Iggerman, and the guy should never pull on a Rangers shirt ever again. It's disgraceful, absolutely disgusting. But that just still doesn't take away from the fact that what Russell Martin did today, in terms of his performance, in terms of how he set this team up, how he got this team to play, was not acceptable yet again. And look, I go back to what was said at the start when he was appointed, what it was said, by Russell Martin at the start. We are seeing absolutely zero evidence and zero progress towards that. Now, look, if we could have seen over these last 3 games domestically progress towards something, we were starting to see the elements of shape, a style, an aggression, a way of playing, then fair enough. Then look, that's fine. But not just over these domestic games, but over these European games as well, we have seen zero progress to what was promised, what was said was coming from those, from Russell Martin and those who appointed him. Now, if you go back to what Kevin Thelwell said on why Russell Martin was chosen as Rangers manager, this is what Thelwell said. He said his teams play dominant football. They control the ball, dictate the tempo, and impose themselves physically. They press aggressively and work relentlessly off the ball. These are the characteristics that we believe are required to be successful home, away, and abroad. Well, there's zero evidence of any of those things. Yes, we are, in terms of having the ball, we have more ball than anyone else, but we don't do anything with it. We don't dictate any sort of aggressive tempo. We don't impose ourselves physically. We don't press aggressively. We don't work relentlessly off the ball. And, these are all things that supposedly is the reason, supposedly kind of was the reasons he was appointed. And again, we're not seeing that or any evidence of that. So to me, the guy is getting to a point where, look, we'll get through to the international break, of course, with him as manager. And if you look at the league table as it stands today, Celtic obviously top on 9 points. We're 7th on 3 points, 6 points behind Celtic. Now, if we were to lose the Old Firm game next weekend, then it would go to 9 points back going into the international break. 9 points already. I mean, that is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, that record for a Rangers team is just simply not good enough. And I honestly think that come the international break, if we're 9 points behind going into that international break, which I fully expect us to be, then the owners need to take stock of what we're seeing on the park, of how we're seeing Rangers play, of what progress we're seeing to what they want. And surely they must conclude that this man is not coping with the job, that the job is far too big for him, that he has not got a clue what he is doing. And it's getting worse week on week on week on week. Now, the only positives I could take from today's game was Lyle Cameron. I thought he did very well. Again, didn't give up, aggressive, tried hard, worked hard. And Finlay Curtis with his 3rd goal of the season. Finlay has the heart of a lion. That boy never stops running, never stops trying. Now, I'm not saying he's the complete player yet, because he quite clearly isn't. But for me, Finlay Curtis should be starting on Wednesday night. He should be starting every game now. That lad has the heart of a lion. He works his arse off. He's a Rangers lad through and through, and he needs to be out there on a regular basis, because he put in more heart, more fight, more bottle, more passion than any of the other players out there. I thought Tav did it well when he came on as well. I think Tav as an impact sub, maybe something we could see going on for the rest of this season, as I don't think he's going to be going anywhere, so credit to Tav for that. But, at the end of the day, this again is another dire display by a dire team with a dire manager. A manager who is way, way out of his depth. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.